in silence. We live in a world that is constantly searching for validation, recognition, and applause. But what if I told you that the true power lies not in what others see, but in the quiet moments of dedication and persistence when no one is watching? Success doesn't always come with a loud announcement. It doesn't always arrive in a big, visible moment. It's in the steady, consistent steps we take every single day. The work you put in when the spotlight isn't on you is what shapes your future. It's easy to get distracted by the noise of the world, but when you embrace the journey, when you focus on the process, you become stronger, more capable, and more fulfilled. Life will throw obstacles your way. Some might be physical, some might be emotional, but every challenge is an opportunity to grow. There is a unique power in those quiet, difficult moments when you choose to keep moving forward even though no one is watching. It's in those moments that we shape our character, build resilience, and discover just how strong we truly are. You don't need the applause of others to fuel your efforts. What matters is the work you're doing when the world isn't paying attention. The only person you need to answer to is yourself. Your own dedication, your own perseverance, and your ability to keep going in the face of adversity will be the markers of your success. Celebrate the small victories, the ones that are silent and often go unnoticed. They are the most significant because they show you that you are pushing your boundaries and growing. These moments might not make headlines, but they are the foundation upon which your future will be built. Remember, progress takes time. It's not always immediate and it's not always visible. But if you remain persistent, if you work hard when it's easy, and when it's hard, the world will eventually see the results of your efforts. The silence of your hard work will eventually give way to a success that speaks for itself. So don't wait for someone else to motivate you. Find your fire within and let it drive you forward. The work you do in silence will lead to results that no one can ignore. Your accomplishments will speak louder than any applause ever could. Embrace the journey, not just the outcome. Life often teaches us to focus on the destination, the end goal, the final achievement. But in doing so, we risk overlooking the most beautiful, transformative part of our experience is the journey itself. When we put all of our energy into the outcome, we lose sight of the moments that shape us along the way. We forget that each step, each challenge, and each obstacle holds a lesson, an opportunity for growth that is as valuable as the success we are striving for. It's easy to become fixated on what lies at the end of the road. We often think that when we reach that one milestone, whether it's a career achievement, a personal goal, or a dream, we will finally feel fulfilled, satisfied, or at peace. But the truth is, the sense of accomplishment we crave is not found in the final result. It is found in the journey that gets us there, in the hard work, the setbacks, the small victories, and the moments of doubt we conquer. When I look back on my own experiences, it's not the awards or the recognition that stand out. It's the quiet moments when I was pushing through the hardest times, when I had to dig deeper than I ever thought possible. It's those moments when I felt like giving up, but chose to keep moving forward anyway. The journey taught me resilience, patience, and strength in ways I never could have imagined. The truth is, the journey is where life happens. It's where we discover who we truly are, where we learn what we're made of, and where we uncover the power to keep going even when things seem impossible. It's easy to get lost in the idea of what comes next, but the real magic is in each step we take, no matter how small, no matter how challenging. We often think that we'll only be happy when we finally arrive, when we reach that destination we've been chasing. But happiness is not just a moment that comes after a goal is achieved. It's the sum of all those little moments along the way, the people we meet, the lessons we learn, and the courage we discover within ourselves. It's the courage to keep showing up every single day, even when we don't feel like we're making progress. It's the ability to find joy in the grind, to fall in love with the process rather than obsessing over the result. In fact, the outcome is not always in our control. We can work tirelessly, give our all, and pour everything into our goals, but sometimes life has other plans. That's why it's so important to embrace the journey and not just the destination. It teaches us to be adaptable, to stay focused on the process rather than the prize. It reminds us that the journey is not just about reaching a specific point, it's about becoming the person we need to be in order to get there. The challenges, the setbacks, the days when it feels like nothing is working, those are the moments that are shaping you into someone who can handle the success when it comes. You don't get stronger by winning all the time. You get stronger by persevering, by continuing to take steps forward, even when you feel like you can't go on. And that strength, that resilience will carry you through not just this goal, but all of life's challenges. So when you find yourself focusing only on the outcome, take a step back, breathe, recognize that the path you are walking right now is just as important, if not more so, than the destination you're hoping to reach. Embrace every part of it, because every step forward, no matter how difficult, is a step towards something greater. The person you are becoming is the real prize, and that transformation is happening every single day. It's the moments when you feel like giving up but decide to keep going anyway. It's the quiet hours you put in behind the scenes when no one is watching, but you're still making progress. It's the way you pick yourself back up after a failure and keep moving forward. Every one of these moments matters. And when you look back, you'll realize that the journey itself is what made you who you are. It's the journey that gives the outcome meaning. So shift your focus. Instead of waiting for that perfect moment when everything falls into place, appreciate where you are right now. Every challenge, every doubt, every triumph along the way has something to teach you. The process of growth is never linear. It's messy, unpredictable, and sometimes frustrating. But that's where the beauty lies. Each twist and turn of the journey adds depth, texture, and wisdom to the person you're becoming. When you allow yourself to embrace the journey, you free yourself from the pressure of having to get everything right or reach a certain destination. You let go of the need for perfection and start enjoying the ride, knowing that every step, every misstep, every small victory is a part of your story. And ultimately, that story will be more fulfilling, more rich, and more meaningful than any outcome ever could be. Find strength in adversity. Adversity is something we all encounter at some point in our lives. It's an inevitable part of the human experience, but too often we view it as something to fear, something to avoid. What if we could learn to see adversity not as an obstacle, but as a powerful tool, a teacher, a guide that shows us what we're truly capable of? There's a saying that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. While it may sound like a cliche, it holds an undeniable truth. It's in the most difficult moments of our lives, the ones that break us down, that we discover who we really are. When things are easy, when life is flowing smoothly, it's easy to feel confident and capable. But when the world shifts under our feet and we face challenges that seem insurmountable, that's when we are forced to dig deeper, to look within, and to find strengths we didn't even know we had. Adversity doesn't just test us, it shapes us. It's in those times of hardship that we learn what we're made of. We uncover our resilience, our ability to keep going, even when everything feels impossible. You might not realize it at first, but the struggles you face today are quietly preparing you for something bigger. They're refining you, making you stronger in ways that comfort and success never could. I've had my fair share of challenges, moments where I felt completely broken, where I wasn't sure I could keep going, but it was in those very moments that I learned to tap into a well of strength I didn't know I had. And it's not the kind of strength that comes from simply pushing through or pretending everything is okay. It's the kind of strength that comes from being honest with yourself about your fears, your doubts, and your limitations, and still choosing to move forward anyway. Sometimes adversity shows up in the form of physical challenges, health issues, or circumstances that feel beyond our control. In those moments, it's easy to feel like a victim of life, as though the world is conspiring against us. But what if we chose to see these moments not as punishments, but as opportunities? Every time you are faced with a challenge, you are given the chance to rise, to redefine yourself, and to become someone stronger than you were before. It's in the hardest of times that you will find out just how capable you truly are. Adversity is also a great teacher when it comes to vulnerability. In the midst of hardship, we often feel exposed, uncertain, and fragile. We may feel as if we are failing, as though we're not enough. But this vulnerability isn't a sign of weakness, it's an invitation to grow. It's an opportunity to shed the armor we've built around ourselves and embrace the parts of us that are raw, real, and authentic. When we can accept our own vulnerability, we unlock the power to keep going, to face adversity head on with the courage that comes from knowing we don't have to be perfect to be strong. It's also in adversity that we discover the importance of resilience. Resilience isn't about never falling or never failing. It's about getting back up after each setback, about staying committed to our purpose, even when the road is unclear or rocky. Resilience is about learning to bend without breaking, to adapt without losing sight of who we are. It's this ability to rise after each fall that allows us to continue pursuing our dreams, even when we feel like we're standing at the edge of a cliff with no safety net in sight. But resilience also means acknowledging that it's okay to not be okay. Too often we push ourselves to appear strong, to show the world that we can handle anything that comes our way. But true strength doesn't come from pretending to be invincible. It comes from being willing to ask for help when we need it, from leaning on others during our darkest times, and from allowing ourselves the grace to heal and grow at our own pace. Strength is not about being unbreakable. It's about being able to stand up time and time again, even after we've been knocked down. When we face adversity, we also learn the importance of patience. Healing, growth, and overcoming challenges take time. It's easy to want everything to be fixed right away, to push ourselves to move through pain quickly and get back to normal. But real strength comes when we allow ourselves the time we need to heal, to reflect and to understand what we are truly learning from our experiences. Adversity forces us to slow down, to take a step back, and to give ourselves permission to be human. One of the most powerful aspects of adversity is how it helps us see life through a different lens. It teaches us what truly matters. When everything is stripped away, when we are faced with loss, pain, or uncertainty, we come to understand what is essential to our happiness and well-being. It shifts our priorities, opens our eyes to the beauty in small moments, and deepens our gratitude for the things we once took for granted. In the midst of struggle, we begin to see the world with more clarity, recognizing the preciousness of time, relationships, and personal growth. Adversity also has the power to connect us to others in profound ways. When we are going through hard times, it's easy to feel isolated, as though no one can understand what we're experiencing. But what we often don't realize is that others are going through their own struggles too. Sharing our vulnerabilities, our pain, and our stories can create a powerful bond. It reminds us that we're not alone, that there is strength in community, and that we are all capable of lifting each other up when we need it the most. The more we lean into our collective strength, the more we realize that adversity isn't just something we face alone, it's something we can face together. So when you find yourself facing adversity, when life feels heavy and the road ahead seems unclear, remember this. It's not the adversity itself that defines you, it's how you respond to it. It's your ability to rise, to learn, and to grow that will shape the person you become. And in doing so, you will discover a strength within yourself that you never knew existed. Focus on what you can control. When we are confronted with challenges, whether it's a setback in our personal life, a change in our career path, or unexpected obstacles, we tend to feel like everything is slipping through our fingers. We want to control the outcome. We want to ensure that things turn out the way we expect, the way we think they should. But the truth is, no matter how much effort we put into controlling the circumstances, we can never fully control the outcome. Life is far too complex, and the external forces at play are beyond our reach. What we can control, however, is how we respond. So many of us spend too much time focusing on things we can't change, worrying about what others think, stressing over situations we have no control over, and ruminating on past events. But when you invest your energy in things outside your control, you rob yourself of the energy that could be spent on what really matters, on the actions and attitudes that you can cultivate within yourself. You have the power to choose how you show up in each moment, regardless of what's happening around you. In the face of adversity, focusing on what you can control is an act of self-empowerment. It's easy to feel helpless when life throws curveballs. We can get caught up in the why me mindset, wondering why things are happening to us. But when we choose to focus on the things we can control, our effort, our attitude, our choices, we shift our perspective from one of helplessness to one of empowerment. We stop waiting for things to fall into place and start making the changes we can make. This shift in perspective is transformative because it takes you out of the victim mindset and places you in the driver's seat of your own life. Sometimes when we are confronted with challenges, we are overwhelmed by the need to control every aspect of the situation. But real strength comes when we can surrender the need for complete control and learn to adapt. Focus on your response, focus on your actions, and trust that those will lead you forward even when the path isn't clear. For example, if you're pursuing a personal goal, whether it's fitness, a career move, or a creative project, there will always be external factors at play. You might face setbacks, delays, or moments when things don't go as planned. But focusing on what you can control, your commitment to the process, the effort you put in, the attitude you bring to each day will propel you forward in ways you can't even predict. It's not about controlling the finish line, it's about showing up, doing your best, and trusting that your efforts will pay off in their own time. And in those moments when things don't go as expected, when you face a setback, don't reflect your efforts, remember that you still control how you respond. You can choose to see the setback as a failure, or you can choose to view it as a lesson, an opportunity to adjust and learn. It's not about the perfect result, it's about what you do with each moment along the way, how you use each challenge as an opportunity to grow, and how you adapt with resilience. When we focus on what we can control, we start to realize that our power isn't in the outcome, but in the process. We learn to trust that even when things don't unfold exactly as we planned, we can still find strength, growth, and wisdom in how we approach the journey. By taking responsibility for our actions, our mindset, and our choices, we empower ourselves to face whatever comes our way. Celebrate small wins quietly. Small wins are often the building blocks of something much bigger. In the midst of chasing a larger goal or dream, it's easy to dismiss the little milestones we reach along the way. We think they're not significant enough, not worth celebrating. But these moments, the ones that seem insignificant to others, are the ones that make all the difference. It's in those small wins that the real work is happening. It's in those moments when we push ourselves a little further than we thought we could, when we get back up after a setback, when we take a step forward even though we're not sure where the path is leading us, that true transformation occurs. Every small win is a reflection of the effort you've put in, the commitment you've made to your journey. When we achieve something small, whether it's getting through a tough day, learning something new, or overcoming a fear, it's a testament to our perseverance, to the fact that we are showing up and doing the work. These moments are proof that we're making progress, even if it doesn't look like much on the outside. And that progress, that quiet movement forward, is what eventually leads us to bigger successes. But it's important not to overlook the quiet victories because they are the foundation of everything else. The world may not always see the quiet wins, the early mornings you get up to work, the sacrifices you make behind the scenes, the moments of self-doubt you push through, but they matter. They shape who you are. They are the real markers of progress, and even if no one else acknowledges them, it's important to take a moment to recognize them within yourself. Give yourself credit for the small victories because they are building something that is far more valuable than any immediate recognition or applause could offer. Celebrating small wins doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. Often we get caught up in the idea that success is only worthwhile if it's big, if it's something everyone notices, but real success isn't measured by the applause or the trophies. It's measured by the quiet moments when you push through the hard stuff, when you keep going when no one else is watching. It's those small wins that add up to something much bigger than the sum of their parts. They give us the strength to keep moving toward our larger goals, to keep putting in the work when the results aren't yet visible. Take a moment today to recognize a small win in your own life. Maybe it's something as simple as overcoming a challenge that seemed daunting or finishing a task you've been avoiding. Perhaps it's getting through a difficult week or learning something new that you didn't think was possible. Whatever it is, honor it. Allow yourself to feel proud of that quiet victory. It's a reflection of your growth, your effort, your resilience, and it matters. When we celebrate small wins quietly, we also give ourselves permission to be human. We accept that success isn't always about perfection or about achieving everything in a grand, dramatic way. It's about the little victories, the incremental progress, and the courage to keep moving forward even when the world may not notice. By focusing on these small wins, we build a foundation of self-respect and self-worth that doesn't rely on external validation. It's easy to get caught up in the rush to achieve big things, to feel like we're not enough unless we've reached some grand goal. But the truth is, the journey is filled with these small moments of growth, and they deserve to be celebrated. They are the quiet reminders that we are on the right path, that we are making progress even when it doesn't feel like we are. It's not about waiting for the big moment to celebrate, it's about acknowledging the little things that are moving us forward. And celebrating these wins doesn't mean being complacent or stopping once we've achieved something small. It's about recognizing the progress so far while continuing to move forward, setting new goals and challenges. The key is to give yourself the grace to celebrate the journey, to take pride in how far you've come, even if you're not where you thought you'd be just yet. You're still moving, still growing, and that in itself is worth celebrating. So the next time you achieve something, no matter how small, take a moment to quietly acknowledge your effort. You don't need to wait for external recognition to feel proud of yourself. Celebrate your progress, honor your persistence, and trust that the small wins are adding up to something extraordinary. Every small victory is another step toward becoming the person you're meant to be, and it's worth recognizing quietly and with gratitude. The power of persistence. There's a force inside all of us, an inner strength that we often overlook when things get tough. It's the power of persistence, and it's one of the most underestimated forces we can tap into in our lives. Persistence is not about being perfect, never failing, or always succeeding on the first try. It's about having the grit to keep going when everything seems to be against you, when the road ahead is unclear, or when you're exhausted and questioning whether the effort is worth it. Persistence is the quiet determination to continue showing up day after day, no matter how difficult the journey becomes. I've learned that persistence is often the key to unlocking doors that seem impossible to open. It's the quiet, unrelenting drive that makes us keep going, even when we can't see the results we're hoping for. In my own life, I've faced moments where the odds felt stacked against me, moments when I wasn't sure if I was going to make it through, but it was persistence that carried me through. It wasn't a sudden burst of inspiration or a flash of brilliance. It was the small, consistent choices to keep moving forward, to keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when I was unsure of the outcome. Persistence is not glamorous. It doesn't always come with fanfare or applause. It often feels like a lonely road where you're putting in effort day after day and not seeing the instant results you desire. It's easy to get discouraged, to feel like you're stuck in a cycle of trying and failing. But here's the truth: every time you try, every time you keep going, you are making progress, even if it doesn't feel like it. The act of showing up, even when it's hard, is progress in itself. It's laying the groundwork for something bigger, for a breakthrough that may come tomorrow, or next week, or even years down the road. What we often fail to realize is that the most successful people, the ones who make it look easy, are not those who never face challenges. They're the ones who refuse to give up. They understood the power of persistence. They understood that every setback, every failure was just another part of the journey. They didn't let those moments define them. Instead, they used them as fuel to keep moving forward, knowing that persistence would eventually pay off. I've learned that persistence isn't just about pushing through the hard stuff. It's also about being patient with yourself, recognizing that success takes time and allowing yourself the space to grow. It's about understanding that the path is rarely linear, that there will be also about being patient with yourself, recognizing that success takes time and allowing yourself the space to grow. It's about understanding that the path is rarely linear, that there will be detours, roadblocks, and unexpected twists. But it's in those moments when things don't go as planned that persistence becomes your greatest ally. It's your ability to keep moving forward in the face of uncertainty, to trust in the process, and to have faith that your effort will eventually lead you where you need to go. There are days when persistence feels impossible, when the weight of your goals feels too heavy, or when the world feels like it's not on your side. Those are the days when persistence matters the most. It's in those moments of doubt when you feel like giving up is the easiest choice that you must dig deep and find the strength to continue. That's when persistence transforms from a passive force into an active decision, a choice to stay in the game, to keep going even when you can't see the finish line. But persistence is also about learning from your failures. It's easy to think of failure as a sign that you're not good enough or that you should give up. But what I've come to realize is that failure is not the end. It's a stepping stone. Every failure teaches you something valuable. It's a chance to adjust, to learn, and to grow stronger. Persistence doesn't mean ignoring failure. It means embracing it, learning from it, and using it to fuel your determination to keep going. Sometimes persistence also requires a shift in perspective. We often set a goal, and if we don't reach it by a certain time, we feel like we've failed. But what if the goal itself isn't the point? What if the real power lies in the persistence, in the act of continuing to try to continue showing up, no matter how long it takes? The process is just as important, if not more so, than the end result. Persistence helps us build the resilience, the wisdom, and the character we need to handle success when it finally comes. It prepares us for the moments of greatness, making us capable of handling the weight of our dreams when they finally become reality. The power of persistence is also found in its ability to build self-belief. When you persist, when you continue to move forward in the face of adversity, you are sending yourself a powerful message: I can do this. I am capable. I am worthy of success. Each step you take, no matter how small, is an affirmation of your strength and your ability to keep going. And as you continue to persist, that self-belief grows. It becomes a part of who you are, a part of your identity that will propel you through even the toughest times. But persistence doesn't just apply to the big, life-changing goals. It applies to everything we do, whether it's improving a skill, building a relationship, or pursuing a personal dream. Persistence is the thread that ties it all together. It's what keeps us going when we feel like giving up. It's the quiet resolve that whispers in our ear, urging us to take one more step, to give one more try, to keep moving forward even when we don't feel like it. Ultimately, persistence is a reminder that success doesn't come overnight. It doesn't come in a straight line. It comes with time, with effort, with setbacks, and with failures. But most importantly, it comes to those who refuse to give up. It comes to those who are willing to show up day after day, even when the world feels heavy, even when the path seems unclear. When you choose persistence, you choose to trust in the journey, to believe in yourself, and to keep moving forward one step at a time. And that is a power that no one can take away from you. Create your own motivation. We often wait for motivation to find us. We think it will come in a sudden burst of energy, a moment of clarity, or a flash of inspiration that will propel us forward. We look to others for encouragement. We scroll through social media to find a quote that speaks to us, or we wait for the right circumstance to ignite the drive we need. But what if I told you that the real power lies in creating your own motivation, tapping into a well of energy and determination that comes not from external sources, but from within you? The truth is, motivation is not something that just shows up when you need it. It's not something that is handed to you by others or gifted to you by a single moment of brilliance. Motivation is a choice. It's a decision to get up, to keep going, to continue moving forward, even when you don't feel like it, when the world around you is uncertain, or when it feels easier to give up. Motivation is created, not found. When we rely on external sources to motivate us, we give away our power. We become passive participants in our own lives, waiting for the right moment or the right person to give us permission to take action. But the moment you decide to create your own motivation, you take control of your own journey. You stop waiting for external validation or a sign from the universe. You become the force that drives yourself forward. In my own life, I've experienced moments when motivation felt like it was nowhere to be found. After facing challenges, losing my legs, and navigating a world that wasn't designed for people like me, it would have been easy to give in to the feeling of defeat. There were days when I didn't feel like training, when I didn't feel like showing up, when I doubted my ability to move forward. But what I learned is that motivation wasn't something I could wait for, it was something I had to create. I started by looking inward, by connecting with the deeper reasons why I wanted to keep going. What did I want to prove to myself? What was it that made me passionate about continuing my journey, even when things were difficult? I realized that motivation was rooted in my purpose. It wasn't about wanting to win medals or gain recognition. It was about the deeper desire to push my limits, to show others that anything is possible, and to create a life that felt meaningful to me. When I tapped into that purpose, motivation became something I could access at any moment. It's easy to think that motivation only comes when we're feeling excited or ready, but that's not true. Most of the time, we don't feel like doing the hard work. Most of the time, we don't feel like waking up early, putting in the effort, or pushing through discomfort. But the magic happens when we do it anyway. The act of showing up, even when we don't feel like it, is how we create our own motivation. We build momentum with each small action, with each step forward, until motivation becomes a natural part of the process. And here's the thing about creating your own motivation: it doesn't have to be a grand, sweeping gesture. It doesn't have to be a moment of earth-shattering inspiration. It can be the quiet decision to take one small action, the choice to keep moving forward even when you don't feel like it, the willingness to stay committed to your purpose. Every time you choose to create your own motivation, you reinforce your belief in yourself, in your ability to push through obstacles, and in your capacity to achieve your goals. Let your results speak. There's a beauty in letting your results speak because it removes the pressure of external validation. You don't need to tell the world how hard you're working or how much effort you're putting in. The results will do that for you. When you're truly committed to your journey, when you show up every single day, the work you put in will speak louder than any words you could say. But it's not always easy to let your results speak. We live in a world where validation often comes from external sources: likes, comments, recognition, awards. It's tempting to look for immediate feedback, to want others to see the effort we're putting in, to crave the praise and attention that comes with success. But if we are truly committed to the journey, validation often comes from external sources: likes, comments, recognition, awards. It's tempting to look for immediate feedback, to want others to see the effort we're putting in, to crave the praise and attention that comes with success. But if we are truly committed to the journey, we have to shift our mindset. We have to stop relying on others' approval and trust that the results will be the proof of our dedication. You don't need to ask for permission to succeed. Your results will show everyone exactly what you're capable of. It's important to remember, though, that the results don't always look the way you expect them to. Sometimes progress is slow, sometimes it doesn't happen the way you imagined, but even in those moments, your results are speaking. Every small victory, every step forward, every moment of growth, no matter how minor it seems, is part of the bigger picture. And when you look back, you'll see that your results have been there all along, speaking quietly but powerfully. When I was training for competitions, there were moments when it felt like I was pushing myself beyond my limits. I wasn't always getting the immediate feedback I wanted. I wasn't always seeing the progress as quickly as I hoped. But I had learned not to rely on external validation. I focused on the work, on improving every single day, on challenging myself even when no one was watching. And slowly but surely the results began to speak. I didn't need to explain the countless hours I spent practicing or the sacrifices I made. The success I experienced wasn't because I talked about it all the time, it was because I did the work, even when it was hard. And when the results came, they spoke louder than anything I could have said. Letting your results speak also means letting go of comparisons. We live in an age where we're constantly comparing ourselves to others, whether it's on social media, in our professional lives, or in our personal journeys. It's easy to look at someone else's success and feel like we're not doing enough, but when you focus on your own path, your own progress, and your own results, you realize that your journey is unique. No one else can take credit for your hard work, and no one else can define your success. Your results are your own, and they will speak for you in ways that no one else's can. Another powerful aspect of letting your results speak is that it takes the pressure off. When you stop worrying about the external approval and focus on doing the work, you free yourself from the need for recognition. The act of letting your results speak is an act of trust in yourself, in your ability to stay committed to the process, and in your capacity to succeed no matter what others may say or think. You give yourself permission to simply show up, do the work, and let the outcome unfold naturally. The more we focus on creating results, the more we shift from a mindset of seeking approval to one of creating value. You're not working to impress anyone or to be seen by others. You're working because it matters to you, because it's important to your own growth. When you do that, the results will naturally reflect your dedication, and they will speak louder than any words of praise or recognition ever could. You don't need to explain yourself. The results will say it all. The power lies not in the noise we make or the words we speak, but in the quiet persistence of our actions. When you create your own motivation, when you embrace the journey, when you focus on what you can control, and when you let your results speak, you unlock a strength that goes beyond mere words. You become someone who shows up even when it's hard and keeps going even when the path is unclear. Remember, the quiet work you put in today, the small steps you take, the challenges you face and push through, they all matter. They are shaping your story, and eventually they will speak for themselves. Trust in that process. Know that you are capable of achieving what you set out to do, and that the results will come, not because of how loudly you proclaim your dreams, but because of how relentlessly you pursue them.